Hello, hello, welcome. I hope you're all having a wonderful day today. So, St. Patrick's Day has kind of snuck up on me. It is coming up fast. It is early next week, and I thought it would be fun to make a couple St. Patty's Day cards. So, I don't know about you, but I'm not a big drinker, but my one kind of memory of celebrating St. Patty's Day back in my 20s was drinking green beer. And I don't really like beer, but it was the thing to do back in my day. So I had this great stamp set called Brewski's, which I had ordered to make some masculine cards, some masculine birthday cards, which I still may do in the future. But I started thinking this would be fun to make a green beer card. So I have Happy Green Beer Day. And then on the inside, I used one of the foil sheets from the Lucky Day toner foil sheets to put the Happy St. Patrick's Day on the inside. So I thought that was a fun card. So in addition to these two sets, I also use the large, here it is, I keep it in this, but it's the large Happy word die. And I used the bold alphabet. I just love the big letters that just pop off the page there and make it easy to read. For our second card, I'm also going to add in these two sets. I'm going to use these two of the pierced and stitched circles, and then I'm going to use the St. Patty's Day here. And this is a complimentary stamp set that goes along with this Happy. So you have the die that says Happy, and you can say birthday, anniversary, graduate, everything, and it even has St. Patty's Day. So, all right. Let's go ahead and get started. Set these things aside. And the first thing we're going to do is ink our background for our card. So I've just got a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 white card here. And we're going to go ahead and use some Distress Oxides to create our green background. So let me know there in the comments if you're here with me, if you do anything special for St. Patrick's Day. Do you just wear something green, or do you have any special ways of celebrating, like green beer? I can't even tell you the last time I had a beer. I don't drink often, and when I do, it's usually Moscato wine, and it's usually with a meal, so... I don't think they do Moscato wine in green, but maybe they do. We'll have to see. All right, so I used the Twisted Citron here to go around the edge, leaving the center much lighter. I did put some green in there, but I left it much lighter. Now I'm going to come around with the mowed lawn and do just the edges. So when I was growing up, we lived very close to Chicago. So in my 20s, it was always the thing to do to go up to Chicago, where they turned the river there that runs through the city. They would fill it with food coloring and turn it green for the holiday, and of course the parade and things like that. And we would go to a restaurant there called Bennigan's. Did you ever eat at a Bennigan's? I think it was a chain, but Bennigan's would have live music and special hors d'oeuvres, and they would have green beer. So I probably only did that once or twice ever, but that's kind of my only memories of really celebrating St. Patty's Day. Although I do try to remember to wear green. Okay, so now that we have our background made, it's just a quick, simple background, we're going to do just a little bit of Copic coloring. So I've gone ahead and die cut all of our pieces here that we're going to need to finish our card. But I wanted to show you how I colored my green beer. So let's see here, get all the right colors. There we go. So I'm starting with the YG05, then I'm using the YG11 and the YG00 to finish off my beer. I'm just going to flick in from the sides where I want that to have a roundedness look to it. I'm also going to flick just a little bit of green up here in the foam. But I want my foam to be much lighter than the beer itself. So my mid-tone color, the YG11, I'm just going to go over all of that. Still leaving some white space in the middle. And for my foam, in the middle section here, just going to add a little more of that mid-tone. Now, my YG00 is going to look very yellow, but that's going to be what really brings all of it together. And I'm really coloring over everything with my YG11 to give it that nice, bright, kind of like the twisted citron. It brings that kind of neon-y look to it. I just love how that does that. So that is how I colored my green beer. There you go. So it really is the YG00 that I think, you know, takes it up a notch. For my hands, I'm going to use the E50, 51, and 53, and I'm going to start with the 53. Whoops, wrong end. And just everywhere where I think it'll be a little bit darker, I'm going to add the shadow. Then with the 51, I'll come back and color that in. I'm just leaving a little bit of white down the middle of the wrist. And that's where I'll come in with the lightest color and color in the rest. All right, the only other thing I'm going to do for the hands is the R00. I'm just going to color these fingernails on this one hand just to take away that white. And my very last color is going to be the B with 4 zeros, and that's what I'm going to use just to put an outline here around my mug so that it has some shadow and it looks like a glass mug. All right, and I am going to come back with my YG05 and these little pieces here. I'll do those. Now, to put these on my card, I wanted my beer mugs to have an iced look. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring some fine clear embossing powder. Set that aside. And I'm going to do this. I use the same colors to color up my beer word. And I am going to use a glue pen, excuse me, and all of my beer I'm going to color with my glue pen. And we're going to heat emboss that with the clear. Just going to dip it in. So I don't know if you can see, but right now it's all covered. And for this one, I'm just going to color in the word beer. All right. Now for my second card, I've colored it the exact same way and I stamped it and then I cut it out with one of my stitched circles. And on this card, I also want to have that iced look. So while we're doing this, I'm going to go ahead and color that in as well so that they'll all be finished and ready for our cards. Okay. Oops. All right, now we're just going to heat emboss those real quick. My husband says green beer while watching March Madness is a tradition In college, yes. Yeah, I believe you're right. That's probably what we were doing. Looks like my husband has joined us in the chat there. All right, here we go. Got melted. I'm going to have to put this on a clothespin because I'm going to burn my fingers if I don't. There we go. Oh, yeah. Hopefully you can see that. It just gives it a nice, like, icy look. Love that. So this week here in College Station, it is spring break. So it's been a really kind of quiet, easy week. When you live in a college town, your life very much goes along with the college schedule. There's been no traffic, which has been really nice. This will be the last one, and then we'll be done with the heat gun. All right. Okay, I'm just going to hold that up, so hopefully, let's see if there's a pretty good image of it. See how it just gives it that really fun kind of icy condensed look, condensed water. Very nice. Okay, so now that we have these three, this one, I'm going to go ahead and just cut out, leaving a nice white outline. There we go. All right, there we go. I'm just gonna trim off the ends there. All right, we are ready to start putting our card together. We'll grab a card base here. These are going to come together very quickly. So now I have gone ahead and I have cut out our words. So if you've made any St. Paddy's Day cards, if you're Irish, we'd love to have you post pictures of them. So I kind of have an idea of how I want this position on my card, similar to how I did it before. So the way I like to do is kind of do it from the side. I tend to get a better angle on it rather than if it's straight up and down, I may get it crooked. I'm a little better if I go side to side. This is also a great place if you have a T-ruler that can help you. Oops, I did it from the wrong side. There we go. And if I do it from the side this way, I can get a pretty good eye for lining it up, getting the distance between the letters. Now, one good trick is to start, and if you've got a long word, to start with the middle of the word and work your way out. But since this is a shorter word and I know I need room for the beer over on this side, I feel pretty comfortable starting about where I did. It also helps because I have made this card once before, so that gives me an idea. I love it when I can take a set that was maybe not originally created or drawn for a certain holiday, but I can get like dual use out of it or more use out of it by using it in different ways. And so this idea of using the Brewski set for green beer for St. Paddy's Day was just a good way to get a little more mileage out of this stamp set, to use it in a different way. But I do think it'll make some fun birthday cards. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to position my word beer a little bit closer to the green. When my mom first looked at this one, she just said, "Oh, happy Green Day." And she missed the beer altogether. So I wanted to move that a little closer to make sure it doesn't get lost. Oops. Yeah. There we go. I wanted this hand to kind of be coming in off the edge, kind of at an angle. Oops, maybe a little lower down. There we go. All right, now we're just going to add the word day, and the second card we'll be creating together. All right, there we go. I love it. I think that's so fun, and I love just that shiny beer with the embossing, the clear embossing powder over those. Just really adds a little bit of shine, and I thought that turned out to be a really fun card. So, okay, now our second card. I have gone ahead and I have foiled one of our toner sheets from the Lucky Day toner cards. And after I did the foiling with green foil, I went over it with a little bit of the Twisted Citron oxide ink, just to kind of take away that bright white. Then I used a little bit of the mowed grass to go around the edges. And I went ahead and trimmed that down 1/4 inch on the top and the bottom, or the top and one side, so that I could have an outline. And we're going to place that here on this lime green paper. Did I get that on there somewhat straight? Yeah, there we go. All right, and so the other pieces I have made is I made a stitched circle here out of green, and then I have this stitch circle. My thought was that I would kind of offset them. And I have stamped out the word St. Paddy's Day. I die cut the word happy 3 times, twice out of white and once out of the lime green, and I stacked the white ones, and then the lime green one I offset a little bit. So I thought it stood out a little bit better on my green by having the backing. And one thing I want to do before I start gluing everything down is I want to take the word clink from our stamp set, and we're going to stamp that right here on our beer can, or our glasses, over our mugs here. All right, perfect. So my thought was that it would go about right here. So it says Happy St. Paddy's Day. I think it's okay if that's on that circle. We'll play around with it here and decide. And then this one says cheers, beers, and many more years. And that just kind of reminded me of a little bit of a Irish thing to say. Their blessings are often rhyming, so I thought that one worked well for this card. So, okay, I'm going to go ahead and glue everything down. You know what, I thought I would lay it out without the green background just to see if I liked it, but I think it needs that darker green just to kind of balance everything. So I also had tried it with the green outlined like this. Oops. And I don't know, I kind of liked it offset. So, you know, just different ways you can go about it, but that's what I decided to. I kind of liked it having that something different by offsetting the circles. I am going to keep both of these cards completely flat. Not going to pop anything up today. Just going to hold that down. When I heat embossed it, it curled my paper just a little bit, so pressing that down. So do you have plans this spring? My mother and I have plans to go to the rodeo next week. Looking forward to that. Houston Rodeo is always a highlight of our early spring. It's always last week of, sometimes it's first week of March, sometimes last week of February, but that's always a thing that we look forward to here in Houston and in Texas. Alright, I think I don't love that it's on top of my circle, but I think that it's okay. If I'd had a little more room, but I didn't want to crowd everything together and make it look like, you know, sometimes it's better just to go ahead and let it overlap than to have it look like you squished it all together. And then this one, I'm just going to put right down here in this corner. So I do think it would be fun if I had a couple little shamrocks of some kind, and I may look through my stash and see if I have a shamrock, like a die of a small shamrock. And if I do, I'm going to take some of the solid toner and foil it in green and put a few shamrocks on my circles here just to add a little bit. And maybe, I don't know if I'll put any on this card, but there we go. There's our 2 St. Paddy's Day cards, just in the nick of time for St. Patrick's Day. And I hope you enjoyed these 2 ideas. And if you're celebrating St. Patty's, have some green beer. All right. Thank you so much. If you're interested in any of these products, they are listed below the video. And I look forward to crafting with you again next Thursday. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.